Hey folks, this is Vince with Dan's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out Fata Deum. At least that's how I think you pronounce it, it's Latin. Anyway, this is a game that's coming to Steam's Early Access program on September 14th, 2025. I am playing this about 2 weeks prior, so pre-early access, everything that you're about to see is subject to change. In fact, treat this video as a first impressions kind of thing. I couldn't stick with it long enough to review it because I was having lag issues, slowdown issues. OBS wasn't cooperating. Some games do that. So what is this game all about? Well, based on what I've played, again, very limited amount of time here, you can choose a map and you can choose like how many opponents you play against, what kind they are, whether it be like the God of Mischief or whatever it is, Deception. Anyway, you're going to choose opponents and you're going to jump into it. And you are going to be fighting for control over these villages that are in the environment. You start, like, your altar is next to, like, a settlement already. So, naturally, you start there, and then you work your way toward the other settlements on the map. You can influence particular towns under your control to construct various structures. Like the tutorial had me construct either a barracks or a tutorial. I had to spend some mana and some of the town like resources like wood in order to do that. So you can construct like wood buildings or woodcutter buildings and different structures that will aid in the development of a particular town. But ultimately, you're going to be spreading your influence around. You're going to click on villagers that are yellow because yellow means they're not following anyone. And you're trying to convert them to your color. And in my case, it was blue. And I could do that a couple of ways. I could shine this light on them, like all peaceful like, but some are resistant to that. So you might have to use like a godly fist in order to pound them into submission, I guess. So there's different ways to convert people. But as I was saying, it was difficult for me to really navigate the interface with all the skipping I was encountering. But as you play, you level up and you can choose new skills, you can choose different abilities or passive abilities. So that part of it I'm really interested in learning more about. Just seeing like what kind of things I can do in this environment. But your ultimate goal is you have to complete a number of fate challenges. And fate challenges come up, I guess, as you continue playing. And then when you beat one, you get to choose the next one. And in my case, I got to choose like between 3 different fate challenges. And then I had to be as productive as possible to complete this goal. And then I move on to the next fate challenge. And if you beat 8 fate challenges, at least in the map I played, you will win the game, win the skirmish mode. So that's typically what the gameplay flow is. Start off with no followers, get followers, complete fate challenges, make your villages prosperous, and enact various god powers in order to either convert villagers, scare them into submission, possibly do harm to enemy stuff. It reminded me a little bit of Populous from way back in the day, but again, I have to stress, I couldn't stick with this game for very long due to the back-end stuff. Like, all of the system mechanics were intriguing to me, but this being a pre-early access build, it didn't seem very well optimized. I was encountering lag. I had the game even on a lower graphics setting. And for the record, I can run Helldivers 2 and many other games. I'm playing Outer Worlds again right now. I can run a lot of these games, no lag, no problem. But for whatever reason, this game just didn't seem very well optimized. And that's to be expected in a pre-early access build, so I'm not going to knock the game too hard. I'm just trying to set expectations here in case the game does seem a little janky to you if you buy it day one when it's released into early access to the general public. So yeah, I'm curious to learn more about this game, and I do want to play it again, but the part of me that has a lot of games to cover and doesn't have a lot of time to do that wants to shelve this game for a while until it's a bit more stable, until it's been developed more, until it's cooked a bit longer. Then I'll come back to it and spend more time learning it. But for right now, this is what you're going to get from me, a quick preview / early access, kind of thing. And, whether or not you pick it up, it depends on whether or not you want to support the developers. I personally, in the state it's in, I would have waited a little longer before picking it up. But hey, you do you. This is Vince. Thanks for watching. I'll catch y'all next time. Take care.